Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it. We'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom. It is Wednesday, September 6, 2023. And for all of you that enjoyed the long weekend, happy Labor Day, happy back to school week. My kids went yesterday. I know a bunch of kids have been going over the last few weeks, depending on where you live in the country. So, as my mom used to say, it's the best time of the year, especially if you're a parent. So it's not the best time of the year when it comes to scrap prices. So let's kind of segue ourselves into that. Let's just jump right into it. Let's pull up some of the prices that we have over the last week or so. And let's just look at these markets and kind of start from the top and work our way down. Bear Bright, 302 average. Copper tubing, 288. Heavy melt, that's at number one HMS, 217. Repaired, 235. These prices, while you see some green and you see some red, what I don't see here is a lot of optimism. And let me tell you some of the things that we have been looking at in the last week. Now, it's really tough going from August into that first week of September and giving you a good idea of what's going on with the markets because the Labor Day weekend, vacations are wrapping up. So I don't really take the last week of August or the first week of September super seriously when it comes to the markets. I really start to look for the middle to end of September going into October to see some movement in some of these ranges. And let's talk about some of them. Now, we've been seeing people report prices, and don't forget, download the iScrap app. I mean, whether you have it on your iPhone, your Droid, use the mobile version through a web browser, iPad, tablet, laptop, check these prices out and report the prices that you have. It helps show what the market is doing. And I'll give you a really good example of how we take some of this information that scrappers upload and really try to figure out what's going on with the market. Last week on Thursday or Friday, it could have been Friday, we saw copper prices jump up 11 cents. At the end of the day, they only ended up 3 cents. So when I look at price increases like this, and I've seen many people take screenshots and post it to our social media pages or tag us and say, oh, copper prices is up. Copper price is up. It's time to sell. It's time to sell. That's really not true because when you have copper prices that jump 11 cents in one day, but then only end 3 cents up, right? That's technically a 19-cent swing, 11 minus 8, and then you add those two together, right? That's a 19-cent swing in one day. And those aren't the swings that scrapyards want because as a scrapyard owner, I'm not jumping my prices 11 cents in the morning just because they go up. Because the trend recently has been down early and even, up early and slightly up or even. So there hasn't been a lot of, building blocks that's been going. There's been increases. That's cool, but that doesn't move the needle. And that's why a lot of the scrap prices haven't moved over the last few weeks or months. Now, we did see copper prices about 40 cents below where they are today back in April. So don't forget, a slow build over 4 or 5 months is a nice build. But if you look at this market for Bear Bright over the last 2 months, we've seen a lot of hovering over $3 per pound. Look at some of the reported prices. Alabama, Massachusetts, Michigan, Maryland, Texas, New York. What are the ranges from 275 to 310? We're not seeing huge prices. So when the price jumps 10 cents, it's not immediately moving because the scrap yards just aren't moving with it. And that goes for copper pipe, number 2, insulated wires, and brass. Let's pull up the brass prices and talk about them for a second because we just want to look at some of these. Everyone asks, hey, what's yellow brass doing? What's yellow brass doing? Yellow brass prices are going to follow the copper prices, are going to follow the zinc prices here. $1.90 national average over the last 30 days. So if we can click on brass and just kind of look at some of the reported prices for a second, Illinois, Georgia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Kentucky. Look at your ranges, $1.65 to $2.05, $2.16 is the high. So we're not seeing these humongous brass jumps. Let's look at yellow brass. Here, the last few days is a better chart. Massachusetts, Indiana, $2, 183, 190. But if you look at this 2 month running average at $1.96, you're just not seeing an upward trend. You're seeing stable over 2 months. And that's really important when it comes to scrap. You want to know what the markets are doing. And by uploading your prices, it allows you to have a better feeling, a better touch on the markets, opposed to just looking at like, what is copper trading at? That doesn't help you, right? These prices help you because they're real scrapper prices. So that's that. A couple of things that we've done in the last couple of weeks. Am I allowed to swear a little bit? Is this a swear? So. Yeah. Okay. I hope this doesn't get like, I'm not, I try not to swear on screen. We just posted a video. What pisses scrap yards off? Right. So I know how people speak when it comes to the scrap industry, right? We are rough. We are trucker mouth. We are dirty. I tell people I have I got to clean my mouth out with soap before I go home sometimes. So I don't bring any of that language with me. But there's lots of things that piss me off as a scrapyard owner, whether I was working down at the scale, driving a forklift years ago, or sit in the office today. And I just shared some of those things with you. So maybe you can add to them. Maybe you can have better understanding. And then maybe we can make a video and splice some clips together. And you can tell us what pisses you off. And we can put together a bunch of scrapper, clips and just say, hey, here's what scrappers get upset about. And then scrapyards can learn from that as well. But we got a couple of videos. So check those videos out on YouTube. We're putting new videos on there every single week. And if you want even more content, we have a YouTube membership where members only are getting videos, and I'm posting them weekly, whether it's talking about the markets or copper drop or steel increase. And I post those as I find them out, opposed to the once a week during our weekly report. So check out the YouTube member stuff. But let's talk about some other things that are probably going to upset you, where it's been a little funny the last week or so. And that comes to catalytic converters. Now, catalytic converters are going to be one of the most frustrating items that you're going to come across over the next 6 months. And let me give you an idea why. When you go from 2021 and the beginning of 2022, and you have prices that are just hovering extremely high, $180 for an OEM cat. And when you look at these national prices today at $82 per OEM on average, you tell me that I'm going to go from 180 to $80. Most people the first few months called the catalytic converter buyers thieves, called them crooks, said that they were lying about the price to make more money. But this is the reality. And if we can go back to the price list and hover down to some of the precious metal prices, this will give you a really good idea why we are where we are. Platinum market 906. Let's pull that up and look at some of the prices over the last month or two, and just to see where those prices are. Let's click on platinum real quick. Platinum in the last week is down almost 6%, right? But if you look, it's really been even for the last 30 days. And that kind of holds true when it comes to palladium and rhodium. Those markets haven't moved in the last week. Palladium down 2.5%, rhodium up less than 1%. So let's call it even, right? But what we're seeing is the catalytic converter market had this extreme upswing when people didn't know what to do with all that COVID money that was printed and needed commodities faster. And where we are now is really where we should be. Maybe a lower price, but that's also because a lot of the people that were buying catalytic converters to refine them, to resell them, they spent so much money in 2021 and 2022. They have a lot of material on site. And with a lot of inventory, raw bars of platinum, palladium, or rhodium to be able to then make into the catalysts, they don't need the materials. So the supply and demand is what comes into play here. The supply is there, but the demand for new cars and other vehicles with these higher DPFs and et cetera for the diesel side is not there right now. So when you're looking at catalytic converters, you definitely want to figure out what the prices are. And rrcats.com will give you free price quotes, free shipping on all OEM catalytic converters. We hold our prices for 10 days. And on top of that, during the month of September, we are waiving PayPal fees for all transactions that are over $200. So check out rrcats.com. I know we talk about it every week, but that's where a lot of our information comes. And that's kind of what's going on with the markets right now. So let me talk about other factors that I've been looking at that kind of give me an idea where the markets are. We have problems on the oil side of things. In the last week or so, we've seen oil prices go up 7%. Why? Saudi Arabia has extended their production cuts through the end of 2023. Russia has now extended or added production cuts through the end of 2023. While many of you may say, well, we're not buying oil from Russia. Why does that matter? It matters because oil is a global product. And if the market is going to get lessened, meaning less is going to be produced, it's not like consumption went down that same amount. Consumption has actually increased in 2023 compared to 2022, but these major oil producers don't like that the markets went below $90 per barrel. What did they do? They talked to each other. They said, nope, we need these prices to be higher so we can get more money in for what we're pumping. And that is exactly what you're going to see. I saw the other day that oil was near 11-month highs, only climbing this morning up again, 1.5%. What does that show me? That shows me we're going to have some more transportation costs. We're not going to see large increases on the steel side of things. And that's really true. When I look at the steel prices, and we can bring some of those up, we're not seeing a lot of movement. We're just seeing flatline markets. You know, I said it earlier, I talked to multiple large buyers and sellers of steel, and these markets are just not moving in a strong way. You know, at the end of the month, we may hear some increases, but going into September, we saw nothing. And when we look at some of these prices, let's pull up light iron, for instance. When we go light iron, $141 per ton right now. And let's look at some of the prices that have been reported out of Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Ohio, right? 177 cents per hundred, 160 per ton, this comes to $140 a ton. And that just is what it is. I don't see an increase happening anytime soon, especially if oil prices continue to go up. Higher oil prices is never good for the scrap industry, just never is. So when we see those prices going up, we're not really optimistic about it. But what we are optimistic about is the tools that we use and what we kind of work with every single week. We just posted a new blog, and I had the guys at the scrapyard over the last year test dozens of different gloves, and we posted a blog on the top gloves for the scrapyard or for the scrap industry. And we posted things from winter gloves to rubber liners and other things like that. So you can go to our blogs, you can check these things out. You can check it out. 7 best gloves for scrapping. My guys have reviewed these, and we talked about them, what was good, what was bad. So by checking this out, you're going to learn about different gloves. And a lot of people don't say, oh, I don't need gloves. I don't need gloves. One of the phrases that I learned in Spanish, this way I can say it all the time, is use guantes, por favor. Always, please use your gloves, because your gloves are your first, kind of defense when it comes to these things, and knowing the right pair to buy is not always easy. So we posted a bunch on here that we tried. We also kind of told you what we've used, and scrappers have kind of agreed. So check that out. It gives you an idea of what other people are using. When you're scrapping on your own, it's not like there's a huge scrapping network outside of iScrap. So this just gives you an idea what other people are using. So hopefully you can, try some of these out and go from there. What else is going on? Nickel prices on the stainless steel side. If we could bring up some of the stainless prices, I was really, really optimistic about nickel 2 weeks ago. I saw nickel trading at 21 to 22,000 per ton. I saw an increased market, and what has happened since then? Really, what has happened the last 6 months? Went right back down. When we look at stainless steel, let's pull up 304 stainless near the top. There you go. 31 cents a pound nationally is probably about the number we're at. 29, 30 cents. That is what it is. Scrap yards are selling stainless around 42 to 44 cents right now. And with processing fees, to have a 3 or 4 cent profit, that really kind of stinks on the stainless side of things, but you got to work close when you have lower prices. You can see 22, 33, 30 cents, 25. This isn't a joke, people. When you look at where these are, New York, Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, all over the country, these prices are the same. So these nickel prices being down shouldn't come as a surprise. Then it goes into the stainless side of things. I'm not holding stainless. Here, even look at 316, 50 cents, 55, 70, 60. I'm not holding anything. Right at my scrapyard, we are turning and burning material as fast as we can because I still don't like these markets. I still think that we're a federal interest rate rise away, a piece of news, legislation, something happening that's going to change these prices from where they are. And I just don't feel good about them. Last metal that we haven't really touched on is aluminum. Again, aluminum is going to be like stainless. I thought that we had an increase coming, right? I was looking at these markets. I was bidding on different loads of material. And if we can pull up aluminum sheets, that's kind of the bellwether when it comes to aluminum. It's really not a lot of anything, 39 cents a pound nationally. I mean, and you look at some of these places, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Louisville, Texas, 40, 38 cents. That's the number. That's the number. So when many people comment and say, oh, these prices in my area are low, well, post your prices. Check out some of the prices that other people are posting. Share some of these out there. When I'm looking at these markets, look at, aluminum scrap, aluminum siding. Let's click on siding for a second. 46 cents a pound on siding. Let's go back to that one. Siding market, I mean, siding should be a hot item. It's easy to process, but look what we have here. Ohio, Pennsylvania, Milwaukee, Connecticut, Maine, New York, 40 cents, 50 cents, 46 on average. You're not looking at anything great in the last 2 months, people. We're really not looking at much positive news when it comes to aluminum. In the last week, 0.23% up on the trading side of things. And you can see on the scrapyard side of things, let's just hover over that graph for a second. When you look at this graph, what do you see? You see a whole lot of even, right? You see 45 cents, 50 cents. That is what it is. It is, people. So, I don't know what people are expecting right now, but these markets are not on the upward side of things, especially in September. Maybe we can see a little running room in October, but I still haven't seen that global demand there, which means I haven't seen the global price increase. So it is what it is. But hey, listen, one thing that we have seen, a lot of people have been checking out the iScrap shop. We have t-shirts, high visibility, phone cases, hats. So check out the store. You can buy directly from there. We got big boy sizes, double X's, triple X's. So check some of these things out. We've seen a lot of people doing these. And if you've bought one already, tag us on social media. This way we can see what you're doing. My favorite is the hat with the hustle, the one speed hustle. That is like my go-to when it comes to phrasing. Love that one. We used to have a stripper shirt at Rockaway Recycling. I think it said in big letters, it said stripper. What was it underneath?
Copper, that is.
Oh, stripper, and then parentheses of copper or something like that. So we'll get those shirts out. These shirts are going to be rotated out. They're kind of limited time offers. So check these out. We'll go from there. So today is Wednesday, September 6th. Next week, we'll be pre-recorded a couple days early to let you know what's going on with the markets. We got some travel built in there for work, so we'll let you know. Ask us questions. We're continuing to respond to those comments on YouTube and any other social channel. This is Tom from MyScrap. Until next week, I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for checking out this scrap video. For more exclusive scrap video content, please become a YouTube member of our channel today. Thank you, and I'll scrap you later.